If you commit to saying this is my body, my mind, my heart, and that's the only thing of me that exists in this world, then linear progression becomes an absolute law that you must abide by. It's done. You will experience your entire life as a chronological unfolding, and there's beauty in that. However, at this juncture in time-space reality, humanity is being invited to open up to a new perspective, perception perspective. That perspective and perception is the circle. Hello, my sweet friend, and welcome to May You Be Open. May you be open, my love, to the possibility that spiritual growth is not linear. Spiritual growth is not linear. Not for the individual, not even for the collective. And that the timeline we perceive truth or objective fact to be on is just that. It's a perspective, a perception, and a limited one at that. We seek to put things into a chronological layout. We seek to understand. We seek to draw and build conclusions. And we use time and order and the illusion of cause and effect to do those things. Completely understandable. It's our mind's attempt to make sense. But today we'll open a small door in our mind, boop, and we'll let one thing fall out, and then we'll leave a space where something new can potentially come in. Are you in? May you be open, my love. Might you be open to the possibility that spiritual growth isn't linear? Here's why. Oh. How do we approach this one? Okay. Circle, ring light, right in front of me. Great. From the divine's vantage point, there is no time. When we step into the perspective of the divine, which we're always talking about here on this channel, always, ad nauseum at this point, we're like, step into the divine perspective, step into the divine perspective. Have you considered trying stepping into the divine perspective? It's just a slight shift in perception from identifying as the patterns, what we call the ego, to identifying as the animating force of those patterns. Just a tiny little shift. The only thing that free will is actually able to do for you is that. You have one decision in your life, just one, and it's that. Either be patterned or shift into the perspective where you're the witness of the patterns. That's the only thing you can control in this life. When we're in that divine perspective, everything's timeless. Some folks will know it because they've experimented, for example, with psychedelic drugs. Others will know it because they've slipped into different dimensions or states of mind over the course of their life. Others will know it because they've just felt a flow state before, lived it, felt it, known it. And some will not know it at all. That will be incomprehensible. What do you mean, a timeless state? How? And the more deeply interwoven we are with the identification of ourselves as our patterns, the more far out a timeless state seems. Again, incomprehensible. I can track time, I can watch time, I see it passing before me. It locks us into the rules really, really aggressively, the rules of this dimension. That's okay. You can be right there in that space and still be open to what I'm about to share with you. Because spirit and the divine force that animates this entire simulation, matrix, beautiful human experience, slap your label on there, doesn't operate in time, that makes no process linear. Nothing. And yet lines are a rule of our perception of this reality. That's intentionally been placed there so that it feels like we are on a chronological step after step, moment after moment, memory after memory, past, present, future type of journey. That is not a mistake. That's not an accident. And it's not a failure to process and experience life that way. That is, in fact, how it was designed, created, structured. Slap your word on there once again. But that fails to become useful to our human evolution if we begin to apply it as an absolute law. Because it turns out that will only be an absolute law for you if you choose to commit to identifying as the temporary aspects of this self for the rest of your life. If you commit to saying, this is my body, my mind, my heart, and that's the only thing of me that exists in this world, then linear progression becomes an absolute law that you must abide by. It's done. You will experience your entire life as a chronological unfolding, and there's beauty in that. However, at this juncture in time-space reality, humanity is being invited to open up to a new perspective, perception perspective. That perspective and perception is the circle. And in terms of growth, it often feels like a spiral. Because where we are right now is mixing the line, which is the law of the third dimension reality, linear timelines, with the circle, which is the law of the divine, infinity, inexplicable vastness, all possibilities possible and occurring in simultaneity. When we combine the line with the circle, we get this spiral effect. And what it feels like for humanity right now, which is flip-flopping between a patterned experience where we're identifying as the temporary, but then having these moments of miraculous divinity where we're realizing, wait, I can also identify as the light that animates the patterns. Whoa, we're ping-ponging back and forth between these two. It comes into our awareness as a spiral, our growth, our expansion. And it feels like, looks like, smells like, sounds like, over and over again, I've been here before. I've been here before. This lesson, I've been presented with this before. This type of person, I've met them before. This thought, I've seen that one before. This moment, I've felt this energy before. And what that is unfolding as is a spiral that is combining the infinite with the finite. It's a beautiful, precious place to be in our human expansion right now because it allows us to love the temporary patterns, ego, and love the divine identity at once, simultaneously, combining a line and a circle together. It is truly, in the words of Hannah Montana, the great and famed poet-philosopher, the best of both worlds. Yeah, I'm prouder of that one than I should be. But it is. So what does it mean for your spiritual progression? Because if we're living by patterns and we're living by ego exclusively, we're going to say that spiritual progression is linear because that's all we can perceive. Lines, flat lines everywhere. So we'll look at ourselves and we'll look at others and we'll assume that people have either progressed or regressed. Maybe if we're being generous, we'll be like, oh, they're just stuck. They're stuck right now. And we'll apply that same thing onto ourselves. I'm either progressing spiritually, or I'm regressing, or I'm stuck. It isn't so, my love. If you dwell in your patterns, that's the only thing you'll ever perceive. But that doesn't make it true. That's just your subjective perception, and it's one that leads to a lot of suffering because it's really married to the concept that I either must be progressing and expanding or I'm contracting and shrinking. As you continue to develop your relationship with the present moment and with complete surrender to all that is, especially all that is about your patterns as they are, just watching them go, 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 you'll merge more and more with the divine identity. And in that, you'll begin to feel and perceive, not so much see, because seeing is so closely associated with our perception of the third dimension. If you're seeing, you'll be seeing with another eye, an eye that looks beyond the physical. You'll perceive that there's no such thing as stuckness, nor is there such a thing as time. And what's happening is you're simply witnessing your own divine ripple expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. And because you are living and representing a set of patterns that needed your witnessing love as the divine to be transmuted into light, back into the totality of love that is the divine, these patterns will dictate certain lessons. That's how we perceive them. Certain themes, certain energies. You like this ripple effect here? Just for you, baby. So you'll feel like you're repeating things, but you're just coming at the same energy, the perfect match for your patterns, what they were made to experience, from a new angle. And think of it, there are 360 degrees angles that you can witness the truth of each of those lessons. So whereas your mind will be judging and saying, we've been here before, we've already done this, you're just looking at the same energy from a new perspective until you've seen it from every possible angle. And in that moment, I can do better. In that moment, you've transmuted it back to light, back to the whole. It's not linear at all. It's circular. It's infinite. It's total. It's vast. It's broad. It can't be confined to a line. There's no moment in it that's ever wasted. And if you feel like you or someone else you know and love is regressing or stuck or not progressing, I suppose that's what stuck means. Understand that they're simply approaching a theme of their patterns repeatedly from different angles. Now we have the masters of the garden outside to join us with their lawnmower. And that's the kind of thing that would make me regress into rage. And I might later once I stop this video, but the idea is you'll notice triggers and patterns and things that you are so certain you got over. But baby, your pattern is meant to see them from so many different vantage points until it's seen the entire thing, circled the whole disc, admired the entire statue, witnessed the painting from every possible vantage point. This is the beauty of cultivating that divine identity shift, where you move into the aspect that says, I'm the divine animating light. Because when you do that, often you shine so much light onto a moment, the present moment that you're in, that you see it from 360 degrees immediately. There's no need to keep returning and returning and returning to the same theme over and over again. When you look at something with surrender, when you look at something with unconditional presence and just accept it for what it is, whether that's you or another or a moment or a situation, you see it all at once. This is why developing presence and trust in the present moment seems to skyrocket spiritual progression if you look at it from that timeline perspective. If you look at it as this line, it just ends. It's interrupted. Or perhaps it completes. Turns into a circle. So my love, may you be open to the possibility that you're not stuck. You're not repeating the lesson because you failed. You couldn't fail, you could never fail, you're already enlightened. Your spiritual journey is done. You're the divine in flesh for a reason. That reason is because it wanted to be. It wants this moment the way it is. It wants you the way you are. And the more you surrender and become present with that truth, that you've never failed, you've never messed up, you have nothing to be guilty for, you are the divine, the more you practice switching to that vantage point, the more you'll feel and know and witness that there isn't even a journey at all. There's just now. And it's perfect. Until we meet again, my sweet love, I am sending you all of the love that I've got. It is always more. It is never less. Because you, my sweet, sweet friend, you are so very worthy of it.